So, welcome to Saturday Bhagavad Gita class, and we are on chapter 1. We'll be starting verses 39 onwards, in which Arjuna is talking from his compassion point of view. And before we start that, we will chant Mangalacharan prayers. I will chant, you all can hear. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोऽभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुताः पदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्तविंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna.
Hare
So, as I said that we have been discussing for chapter 1 and reading chapter 1 for a while. Now we have come to verse 39 where Arjuna talks about his other fears, which were quite valid fears that he had, that what happens when you are killing a complete, a lot of, all the elders, husbands of some wives, though they are in the opposite army, but they are acting in a madness along with Duryodhan by parting from his side, and at the same time they don't know what they are doing actually. If they are fighting, they also may be killed, and if they are killed, what will happen? There will be no one to teach the children who will be left behind. So, who will give them the Sanskriti, the culture? Who will tell them what is the Kula Dharma? So, when the Kula Dharma has not been passed on to the next generation, what happens? Kulakshaya. Kulakshaya. So, we talked about Akshaya and Akshaya last time, if I remember correctly, right? So the Kulakshaya will happen, and when happens Kulakshaya, the all the necessary information that has to be passed on to the next generation will not be there. So we'll chant the first verse. It's a beautiful verse that Arjuna has said. Why the reason for chanting the verses is very important. When we chant those verses the way Arjuna has spoken, we get into that mood, Arjuna's mood, because with that emotion, what kind of emotion he has said, for all his relatives, all his friends. He says that kulakshaye pranashchanti kula dharma sanatana dharme nashte kulam kutslam adharmo bhavatyutaha. So he says that kula dharma, with the destruction of the dynasty, the kula is dynasty, right? So eternal family tradition is vanquished. And thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. How they get involved in irreligion? Because only the ladies have left behind. All the men have been killed. Now only children are left and the ladies are left. So other people in the society, they may take the advantage of that situation. And you know what I mean with this. That advantage means what? Misusing the ladies, those who are remain behind, and the children also will not get any sanskara or culture, so they will not be taught the right way of living. And what will happen when that happens? So Prabhupada writes in his purport beautifully that he says that in the system of the Varnashrama institution, there are many principles of religious traditions to help members of the family grow properly and attain spiritual values. The elder members are responsible for such purifying processes in the family, beginning from birth to death. But on the death of the elder members, such family traditions of purification may stop, and the remaining younger family members may develop irreligious habits and thereby lose their chance of spiritual salvation. Therefore, for no purpose should the elder members of the family be slain. So they should not be killed, is what he means, Because when they are killed, the whole tradition that has to be passed upon to the younger generation will be lost. And when that is lost, all the irreligion will come to that family, that dynasty, that kula. Yeah. So if we try to understand word by word of this verse, so kulakshaya pranashyanti. So when the dynasty is destroyed, then what happens? Kula dharma sanatanaha. Then kula dharma will be destroyed. Kula dharma is every dynasty has its duty, kula and dharma. Every dynasty has its own dharma. So like in the kula of Pandu, Kauravas, like in Thakurs, there are certain way of living. There are certain ways of living in the Sahas, maybe in the Odisha side. There are certain Sahas, those are living on the West Bengal side. They have a different tradition altogether. However, the main culture that is going to be that when somebody is born in the family, there are certain traditions that at what day, what has to be done, how the name is to be given to the child, at what day, which ceremony has to be done, because there is a reason behind every ceremony. Whether we believe it or not, there is a certain rules and regulations as per the stars, etc. Because our astrologers, I mean, time immemorial, they have calculated all this. The modern science does not believe it, but when modern science does not find any solution, they also go back to the, the traditional values of astrology, and they try to find out, oh, now I am, I don't have any answer to the problems that are happening. You may have to either pray to the Lord, this happens with me, when uh, I was given a very, what do you call, not correct medication by one of the GPs here. And and I was whole day, I was having the hay fever. And because of hay fever, you know that what happens in the hay fever. You keep on sneezing, you keep on blowing your nose because it automatically comes here in this part of the world when the pollen content increases in the air. So all these problems are there in this part of the world. Even India also this happens. When I was first time in the US and I came back, this high hay fever started to me because I was living in a very pure atmosphere, weather. And when I came back to India, I got the hay fever. That is the first time. And I was only taking the Zyrtec kind of medication, Actifed, that is called in India. I was taking those medications, and here also I continued taking that. But it's a only quick fix to the problem, but it doesn't take out the root cause of that problem. The root cause may be the pranayam or those kind of things that I should have done, but then it was a very late realization that I should have done it. So okay, so coming to the main issue, that because my water from my body was going out, and I was also taken the higher dose of blood pressure medication. Okay. So my blood pressure went down drastically. And the evening, when I was walking from my bedroom towards bathroom, I collapsed. When I collapsed, I was immediately, one of my friend was, he was called by my wife, and he took me to Norwich Private Hospital. In the Norwich Private Hospital, whoever the CMO was, she gave me, to increase the blood pressure or to bring it normal, she gave me some glucose or something, um, with the saline. And the result of that was I couldn't tolerate that three and a half liter of glucose. My body couldn't sustain, and the whole water went into my lungs, and my face became like this, like Ravan. And I immediately was in coma. I was in ICU for 5 days. So such problems can happen. And then that time the doctors, I mean, they left all the, whatever they could do, they have done. And they told my wife that, now you can only pray to the Lord. And this is the real happening. And that has happened with me in Sydney, in Norwich Private Hospital, which is close to my house.
So sorry to hear that, Prabhu. So sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but it was in 2016, 17, it was. So, but because my Guru Maharaj was that time in Vrindavan, and he prayed to the Lord, and he was talking to my wife continuously. And and he said that I've spoken to the Lord, Shiva Krishna will be out of the danger. He will be survived. You don't worry about it. So now this is, I'm not telling you for in order to bring your, faith in the Lord, but this is the real, incident that happened with me. And my Guru Maharaj was, luckily he was in the Vrindavan, and some devotees were in Dwarka, and they were praying for me. He was praying there for me. His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj was also there in Vrindavan or somewhere. He was in Mayapur. Yeah, so he was praying for me. So all these devotees, because of devotees or Vaishnavas prayers, everything can be possible. So that's a different subject. The point I'm trying to make, that when the medical science fails, they also go to the Lord, to the God, and they start praying. Okay. So that happened with me. So I can give that example, because that's a live example that happened with me, and I was survived. And it is, more than 6, 7 years now that I'm standing here, sitting here, talking to all of you. Okay. So that brings the smile, because Lord is there behind you. And you should have faith in that. Whatever may happen, it may be good or it can be bad, but Lord is there, right, to take care of. But that's the reason we should have a complete faith in the Lord.
Gopal wants to say something.
Yeah, sure.
I think it was Einstein who said, where science ends, religion begins.
Absolutely.
And so your example, we're sorry to hear what you went through, but I think that illustrates that I agree. I mean, there is a point where we can do so much, but then ultimately it's beyond human control. And so I think that statement still is very true, that, science can explain, but after that, it is in the hands of God.
Absolutely, Prabhu. Yeah, you're
We
right.
we, we have seen many examples, and I think it is God's way of making us understand to have faith, like He is there.
But if you have a doubt, but we didn't have any doubt. However, God wanted to create this situation, maybe to tell the entire world, or at least the devotee world, that this can happen and you can be survived if there is a pure devotee of Krishna goes and prays for you. So Vaishnava prayers never fails. That is the statement actually. So if a pure Vaishnava pray for you, then everything is possible. Vaishnava prayers never go waste. So always remember. So once a Vaishnava, you should pray to the Lord. The Vaishnava is the one who has a believer of Lord Vishnu. So if you're a believer of Lord Vishnu, you are a Vaishnava. Okay. So we were talking about this particular verse. Yes, Prabal Prabhu.
Just sorry to hold you up. Just on this verse, are we this? Is it because Arjuna knows the opposition? He's saying all of these things because these are people known to him. But this argument can also be there for people who you don't know and you're fighting in a normal.
Yeah. See what
Like
he's
you're
saying
killing
for
people whose families will be left stranded. So is it coming because he knows these people, or is it something that you could apply to any war?
for both. For both. So Ashta Akshayini Sena, that military, huge military. How can you know each and every person? You only know few people to whom you are close with, isn't it? But he had, being a devotee of Krishna and a friend of Krishna, Arjuna had the same feeling for each and every one person. See, in the army, you can have some Senapatis, some brigadiers, yeah. So you have so many designations, and there are some soldiers behind, right? The maximum loss happens to the soldiers in any of the wars. It doesn't happen that, oh, brigadier has been killed, the first one to kill. No, that very rarely happen. Yeah. So always the soldiers who is the first one, they're like killed like ants and flies like that. But he had the same kind of feeling for everyone. It is not only to whom he knows. Of course, he had, but he had for others as well the equal amount of feeling for them. It makes sense.
Thank you.
Yeah. So then he talks about the Kula Dharma. Every dynasty has its duty to pass it on to remaining people, and the Kula Dharma has to be protected. If Kul Dharma has not been protected, then all the traditions, etc., will not be passed upon to the next generation. And the Sanatana Dharma it eternally will get destroyed. So actually, that which is eternal can't be destroyed, basically. And vice versa. So here Arjun is overpowered by illusion, and he is thinking that Kula Dharma is Sanatana Dharma. Only the Bhakti Dharma actually is the Sanatan. Kul Dharma is important, but it is not Sanatan. In Vedic culture, there are two levels of Dharma, Paradharma and Aparadharma. That is, Aparadharma means family duty, etc. Aparadharma is subordinate religion, that is lower religion. Paradharma is supreme religion. So aparadharma is also important for the spouses to be faithful to each other, and for the parents to take care of children, children to take care of elderly parents, for relatives to take care of each other. This is also dharma. But this is kula dharma, and one has to do this because it is not only our family duty, but it is also part of our apara level of dharma duty. So this is a Kula Dharma. One has to do this because it is not only our family duty, but others' family duty as well. So Kula Dharma, that is Sanatana, it is not Sanatan in the sense that it is not eternal nature of the soul. So all this thing, we are talking about the soul, not the body. Because we talked about this in the last class. What is the duty of the soul and what is the duty of the body in which the soul is residing at the moment? It can be in the male body or it can be in the female body. So when people are destroyed, that will happen. Dharma nashte kulam kshetram. So that dharma, according to the scripture, which was there at the time of Pandavas, is destroyed. Adharmo bhivavati yuta. Then adharma will rise. Adharma will rise. So dharma has to be protected all the time. So actually in the world, dharma and adharma is always in conflict. And dharma is always under attack from adharma. And if dharma is weak, immediately adharma will take over. Because there are only two things, either dharma or adharma. So this happens in our heart, in society, and all over the world, all over the universes, and in all the universes. So adharmo bhivavati yuta adharma. So adharma will become predominant. So when adharma will become predominant, what will happen? All the values will be destroyed. So adharma has to be destroyed and dharma has to be win. So that is the point that Arjuna is trying to make here. And Prabhupada has explained it so well in its purport. But what happens is when we read ourselves, we don't get the complete meaning of it, the story behind it, right? And that's the reason, people have to come and attend these classes, so that when we are discussing in a group of people, the Krishna also comes there. When this Krishna comes where his devotees are discussing about him, he's very happy. That's why sadhu, shastra, and sangha, these three things are very important for us. The knowledge coming from a sadhu, shastra, which is scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, and sangha of people, the association of people. And they are like-minded people, those who are talking about Krishna. So then we are talking about dharma. And that dharma is Sanatan Dharma. It is not Hindu dharma or Islam or Buddhist or Jain and all that. They are all very superficial dharma. Hindu dharma is the uproot from Sanatan dharma. Okay, where they have very strong traditions, etc., they have following up. However, in the Sanatan dharma, there is no mention of Hindu. Okay, Sanatana means it is coming from, the Lord himself. Sanatana is eternal. We can't say that, oh, Lord Ganesh was Hindu god. No. Hindu also worship Ganesh. So that's how we have to look at it. Sanatana is but people have misunderstood in India that Hindu and Sanatana is same. Okay, let them be happy by thinking that at least some dharma has been protected there. By the name of Hindu dharma. Yes, Prabhu, you have some question.
Can you just explain when you Sanat Dharma? I understand what you're saying, but then how do you define Hinduism?
So okay, so what happened was those who were living on the other side of the Sindhu Nadi, because that time the people living in Assam side and all, they couldn't pronounce sa. They used to call it ha, Hindu Nadi. So that's why the people living this side of the Sindhu Nadi, they were all called Hindus, and other side of Sindhu Nadi, they were all Muslims, like that. So that's why Hindu and Muslim, this partition, that happened. It's a very simple definition of that. Okay. Those who are believing in the Devi, Devtas, and etc. So we have gods, demigods, Lord, Supreme Lord. So these definitions are left here. It does not mean that Quran does not follow dharma. Quran does follow. Bible does follow it. But all these knowledges, for example, if we take 2 plus 2 equal to 4, right? 2 minus 4 equal to minus 2. Both are maths. Yeah? Now we go ahead, quadratic equation. A square minus B square, A square plus B square minus 2AC, right? So that is the definition. So this is quadratic equation. Now, who do we teach 2 plus 2 equal to 4, 2 minus 4 equal to minus 2? See, as we teach mathematics to the various levels of students, those who have just started going to the school, एक चॉकलेट दो चॉकलेट कितने चॉकलेट है तुम्हारे पास में दो चॉकलेट so that is for the very small child. They are not toddlers, but we get to that. For 2 years old, 3 year old, we can teach that. That is also mathematics, right? Coming to higher secondary, we teach coordinate geometry and also algebra, calculus maybe, or in the graduation we teach calculus. Dissection of the body with a frog taught to the biology students, right? Those who are trying to understand the biology. So, see the standard when it as per the age you are, but everything is mathematics or biology. Those who go for the medicine, they have been taught how to dissect a human body. Those who go to the veterinary, they have been taught how to dissect the body of an animal, or how to fix a fracture of maybe a dog, like that, or maybe a horse, because that time the horse also tanga was one of the medium of travel once upon a time. So all these are the various examples in which we can understand that how people were taught the mathematics or biology. Similar example we can take in terms of knowledge. People living in the deserts, they were having very less facilities in order for them to understand anything, to enjoy anything. See, for the miles for them to walk, it's only sand and it's a torturing heat there. For them to understand what is happiness, what is unhappiness, what to do and what not to do, it's very hard. So Muhammad gave them knowledge about religion that said, don't do sex with your mother and your sister. That is the only thing they could understand. Don't eat meat on a certain day, maybe a Friday or whatever day they have been taught. Okay. Similarly, for Christians as well. See, as per the level of the people, knowledge has been given to them. As I told you, the knowledge of the mathematics has been given to a lower standard children, then higher secondary children, and the postgraduate student. Mathematics is there. But subject name is mathematics. But what kind of knowledge you are delivering to them? So the knowledge of the God is one. We are all servants of the God. And he is the ultimate authority. It's given in every religion, scriptural book. But depending on the people's ability to understand, the course is changed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So we did the Kulakshay, Prashyanti Kuladharma Sanatana, Dharmanashte Kulatram, Dharmo Vibhayataha. So he is showing the concern not only for known people, but for unknown people also of the both armies. It's not only opposite army, for his army as well. Because there could be chance, when you are going there to kill, you can also be killed. You can't say always that, oh, I cannot be killed. No, nobody can do that. Like people like Bhishma Pitama, they had Ichha Mrityu. When they want to get leave their body, then that time only they can leave the body. Otherwise, they cannot be killed. People like that. Dronacharya, who was the teacher of Arjun, how can Arjun say that, oh, I can go and kill my guru? But there are some divine powers had been given to Arjun by Indra. Indra has given his chariot. Somebody has given something else. So like that, he had so many different blessings on him that he had various uh, uh, weapons that he was given. And there all were celestial weapons given to him. So we are only talking about Arjun. Bhima also had very, very powerful. He was a ferocious eater. Ferocious eater means he can eat like, lions, 5 or 6 lions. That much he can eat. And he can eat for days together. He can sleep for 6 months. That is for Kumbhakaran. And when he used to get up in a very bad mood. That why I was woke up. What do you want me to do? Like that. So he was furious. So that is Ravana's brother, Kumbhakaran. So like that, these were the personalities who have been given lots of, celestial weapons, powers, various things. So now we are talking about only, Drona and all those weapons, etc. And atomic bomb, nuclear bomb, all those things. Nowadays we are talking about, but all these were there at that time as well, in different ways, different forms. Yeah? You may be remembering, that they chant some mantra and then they, leave the arrow from their dhanush. So all those powers were there with the people. But only thing is, for us to realize, we need to have faith in these scriptures and to understand this and to also realize that, yes, these were there that time. Yeah. Next verse. Do you want to also repeat after me? Okay, I will say and then you repeat. Verse number 40. Yeah. Can you unmute yourself, Priyanka?
Yep.
Yeah. Adharma bhibavat Krishna
Adharma
Dharma
Prabhavat Krishna
pradushyanti kulastriyah
Pradushyanti Kulastriya
srishu drishtasu varshneya
Shishu Dushtashu Varsneya
jayate varna sankara.
Jayate Varna Sankara
Once again, adharma bhibavat Krishna
Adharma Bhivat Krishna
pradushyanti kulastriyah
Pradushyanti Kulastriya
srishu drishtasu varshneya
Shishu Dushtashu Varsneya
jayate varna sankara.
Jayate Varna Sankara.
Yeah, so the translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become polluted. And from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. It's a beautiful way, Arjuna has used the word O descendant of Vrishni, because Krishna was the descendant of Vrishabhanu. Okay, so he's our Vrishni. So irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna. The women of the family become polluted. And from the degradation of womanhood, what happens? O descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. If the one lady, if she has many husbands, can we tell her, children, who is the father of that children? We don't know in that case. So there is unwanted progeny will come. So that unwanted progeny is not very good for the family. And even if the lady is getting polluted, then she will get into bad habits and she will pass on the same culture to other people in the family. Right? So it is very important that this point Arjuna is raising to Krishna. And he's saying this, you are the son of Vrishni, everybody knows that. Or we may not know what will happen once everything has been killed and the human will get polluted. All the Varna Sankara will happen. Sankara means it will degrade it. Varna Sankara. Yeah. Yeah. The purport, may I request Jaya Mataji to read, please? Today I'm not able to see Priyanka for some reason. But I'm able to see Uday. I'm very happy.
Good population in human society is the basic principle for peace, prosperity, and spiritual progress in life. The Varnashrama religion's principles were so designed that the good population would prevail in society for the general spiritual progress of state and community. Such population depends on the chastity and faithfulness of its womanhood. As children are very prone to be misled, women are similarly very prone to degradation. Therefore, both children and women require protection by the elder members of the family. By being engaged in various religious practices, women will not be misled into adultery. According to Chanakya Pandita, women are generally not very intelligent and therefore not trustworthy. So, the different family traditions of religious activities should always engage them. Thus, their chastity and devotion will give birth to a good population eligible for participating in the Varnashrama system. On the failure of such Varnashrama dharma, naturally the women become free to act and mix with men. Thus, adultery is indulged in at the risk of unwanted population. Irresponsible men also provoke adultery in society. Thus, unwanted children flood the human race at the risk of war and pestilence.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. So this verse, adharma vibhavat Krishna. When there is no dharma, that is adharma. So then what will happen? It will pradishyanti kula striya. The striya, the women will become polluted, pradishyanti. They will become contaminated or polluted. And when they are polluted, strishu dushyatu varshneya. Krishna is a descendant of Vrishni. So he is called Varshneya. And Jayate Varna Sankara, then Varna Sankara will be born because of this. Then we don't know who is whose son, who is whose daughter, and who is his father, etc., etc. So this is deep thought which we may not be able to think with our current conceptual and cultural framework. In Vedic culture, bringing forth good dynasty and continued dynasty is considered very great responsibility, and for that purpose, having good marriages and having good family is very important. Now, when dharma is not protected, what that mean? That means it can happen in various ways. Here, Kshatriya are killed, then unscrupulous men will assume power, and when they will assume power, what will happen? They will exploit women. And when they will exploit women, what will happen? The Varna Sankara will be born. So what is Varna Sankara? The unwanted progeny. Now, nowadays people think, oh, we did just birth control, which didn't work, so unwanted progeny came up, and we decided that we will not do abortion, so the child was born. But that is not the context or thought of Krishna. And Arjuna, 5,000 years back, unwanted progeny means progeny with poor conscious, with degraded mindsets. It is only for the enjoyment that is happening. See, earlier, when the child or the progeny was created with the concept of now we'll be doing this in order to bring a son or a daughter to do this. They used to think, they used to think of all these things, that time. It was not only for the joy. It was not only for the joy. It was also with a thought that by doing so, what is going to be the result? The result is, of course, is going to be a son or a daughter. But what is the thought behind it? If the son is born, a son should be able to do this. If the daughter is born, then she will do this. So these thoughts were there in the men and the women's mind, and they would work in that with that thought process. So that is the point that we need to understand. So what is Varna Sankara? What is unwanted progeny? We understood that now. So, and this was a thought that Arjuna had 5,000 years ago. So that unwanted progeny with poor conscience and with degraded mindset should not be born. So how the child is born is not just a material science. Yes, from scientist point of view, how semen enters and impregnates the woman, and how the embryo grows, and how from that child is born, it is fascinating science. And how from one small cell, whole human being like us is born, it is actually miraculous. It is a miracle, which only God can do, and He does it repeatedly without any issue, right? So that is physical process, but there is talk is about how the consciousness is determined. Consciousness of child is by the consciousness of the couple during their union. We see the most of the cases of autism having a abnormal child. You will see most in the Western world because they don't follow the rules and regulations of the Sanatan Dharma. We have a very good system in which we see horoscope. We should not have the same gotra, same nadi, and all those things we follow very religiously. But in the Western world, it is not a concept. They marry anyone, women older than boy can marry a guy, right? So then all the stupid things happen, which I cannot even talk about in this class. We all know what happens. My daughter is a speech therapist and she tells me so many things. She doesn't disclose me the identity of the person, but she tells me, Papa, this is what happens, in the society. And we also had the concept, and have the concept rather in India still, that you should get married before the age of 30. Why? Because at the time you are young. 30 is also very old, actually. Now, the concept is, 18 to 25, because I was born when my mother was 18-year-old. You all must have gone through that. At least Prabal and Jaya Mataji. So that was the concept. It was the right concept as far as the family tradition is concerned. And Prabal would be knowing much better than any one of us, because what happens when the woman is older and then she's giving a birth? What kind of problem they face? No birth happens normal birth. Everything is C-section, all the way through. Am I right, Prabal?
No, absolutely. So obviously, the baby falls pregnant later in life, there's greater risk of birth defect, Down syndrome, all those problems. So yes, no, you're absolutely right. But I think, society has changed and pressures on people to study and work and have income, and that's why
There
people are
are
pushing
lot
their
of
children late.
yeah,
And
there are a
then
lot
this
of
is the
parameters to also consider. However, then in that case, what is going to happen? We should be ready to face those, uh, consequences as well. And the
Sure.
consequences are already there in front of us. Then we
Sure.
should be very, very careful with that.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah. Okay. So we may wonder that what the souls are going to be born when we don't have the proper, consciousness in which we are giving birth to a child. So the souls need body, that they get the body. So what is the difference? It is like saying actually there are going to be criminals. So why not criminals be there in my house as well? Who wants criminals in the house or in my city? It is not our problem where those souls will get the body. Our problem is how we can liberate ourselves and how we can liberate others, those who are dependents, those who are our progeny, and while liberating them, how we can follow dharma and do good. But when there are children with low consciousness, it becomes very difficult in maintaining any kinds of order in the society. So, pradushyanti kulastriyaha. That means, and he says that to Varshneya. Varshneya. So, you must have heard the surname Varshneya of many people. So, it comes from there. So actually, when man and women unite after having proper prayers, then a powerful, wonderful child can be born. So here Srila Prabhupada's purport could be quite inflammatory and provocative from the point of view of today's culture. So Srila Prabhupada writes that women are less intelligent. And according to Chanakya Pandit, women are not very intelligent and not very trustworthy. So what is this blanket statement? It is not very intelligent. So how do we understand this statement? It's not a very good statement to make, that women is very unintelligent or they're not intelligent at all. Women will not like this kind of statement, but there is a concept behind that now. So it refers to the spiritual intelligence. Actually, the soul is neither male nor female. It is neutral. At least bodily, gender doesn't apply to the soul. The same soul can be today in the male body and tomorrow in the female body, and vice versa. So it is not that soul is less intelligent, then it is that it refers to material intelligence. Are women less intelligent at material level? We may say that, oh, when women are given career opportunity, they may excel in so many fields. They are often toppers in school and colleges and they excel in so many fields. So how are they less intelligent? So if materially we don't find women to be less intelligent and spiritually we know that soul is neither male or female, then where is the referring to? Actually, it is referring to the interaction between soul and the body. The word intelligence is used in different sense, in different contexts, in different cultures. So we often use intelligence in terms of our capacity to manipulate, control and organize matter. And IQ, that is intelligent quotient score, are basically to organize concepts. So that is one understanding of intelligence. However, in Vedic culture, the intelligence refers to understanding the fundamental truths of life, and the truths of life are I am not the body, but I am the soul. So that is the beginning, that is ABC of spiritual life. So generally speaking, in female body, the bodily misidentification is far greater than in the male body because for women here, whole sense of self-worth and self-identity comes from the body. How good I look, how many heads do I turn, how many people I attract. So that is very defining and not for a woman self-conception, of course. Once a person becomes devotee, things may change. Right? So the concept, what Prabhupada is explaining, it is for the non-devotees. The important point is the bodily misidentification is but stronger in a female body. And not only that, women are more sentimental than rational. People flatter women by praising them, say by saying you are looking so good, you're looking very gorgeous today, so like that. So this is not an easily becoming a devotee. They have a tendency to accept God and how down to God, and how they will bow down to the God. They can practice devotional life more easily. The sentimentality can practice devotional life more easily. And to the opposite of sentimentality, it is rationality, which found more in man. And this rational facility is foundational for philosophical inquiry and for metaphysical study, and that is beginning of serious spiritual search. So here, the point is greater bodily misidentification, so less intelligent and female body, and psychology has greater level of sentimentality. So it is more on the physiological level, right? Than rationality. That is why it is said that women are not to be trusted. Don't take it, on an individual level. It is a generic statement. Okay. Also, these statements are general. All these statements. There will be always exception, and that has to be understood in the context. So my point, or my saying over here, is not to make anyone unhappy in this class. Okay. So I'm being honest. What I'm saying is that comes from, from the Shastras. See, things have changed over a period of time. However, the emotional quotient of a woman is much, much weaker than a man. They can be very easily pleased. Men cannot be very easily pleased. That's a bodily issue, Women can be very easily pleased. We all know that, and we accept that fact. Am I right, Jaya Mataji?
Yeah, no, I agree, because women get distracted with jewelry, clothes, those factors, and that's part of life. I mean, and that way, if you compare with male, then this interpretation is correct, because they are weaker in their
Yeah. Because see, what happens is they are already so tired. Bodily, they are not very strong.
yes.
So they get tired very easily. I mean, they get tired, not easily, but they get tired because they have to think of women can do multitasking where men cannot do multitasking.
So this is a biological factor as well. Physically, if a male and a female exactly same age walk 10 kilometers, the female will get tired quicker. Maybe they will not be able to do 10 kilometers at the same
Because
speed.
see, there are factors behind
That
it.
is fact of nature, and we have to
Yeah.
accept it.
Nature, as well as she has gone through multiple deliveries, body goes weak because of that. And apart from that, the multitasking, taking care of the child or children rather, then taking care of husband's needs, the in-laws needs, children need, all those. So she's responsible for everything, even if she's working, but still she carries that burden, and men cannot. Being a man, I accept that. Even if I say, no, I will do this, I will do that. No, that doesn't happen. You say whatever you want to say.
Can I ask one question?
Yes,
Rather
sure.
than use less intelligence, should we perhaps use a different term like more vulnerable? Because less intelligence in a book of religion,
It's a book definition. So what Prabhupada
I
said in his
struggle with
purport, I
this.
cannot change. See, the point I'm trying to explain it more and more in order to reduce the inflammation of that statement, which is a very generic statement. Okay,
Yeah,
so
but
I'm further trying to explain it to reduce its impact on the
yeah,
emotions of the people.
yeah. Because when you read it, when I read this before, I picked this up before, and it struck me straight away. And in a book of religion, it should not be.
Absolutely. And that's the reason I'm trying to,
But I
patch
think
it.
maybe if we use a different, I know what you're saying, and whether something like they're more vulnerable or whatever it is, emotionally weaker, whatever you might say. But
So they are
lack of
prone to,
intelligence
though they are
makes it sound
prone
very
to
bad.
more, they are prone to get hurt very easily. They are prone to get pleased also very easily, because that's how the mother's nature is, or the lady's nature is all about. Because
Yes,
they are
certainly.
born with that nature, even if the soul is neutral, they are born with those capabilities, those nature inbuilt in them. Yeah. So we need to take that. So they are less intelligence in terms of, why they are so prone to get hurt so soon, why they are prone to get so attached to something, why they are prone to get, because they are female. They are not less intelligent in terms of otherwise,
emotional world.
that, they don't know math, so they are not intelligent. No, it's not like that. They can be even, there is a first female who went to space. What is the name? Some Thomas.
We have our
Forgot the-
Shakuntala Devi. She
Yeah,
was a
Shakuntala
math-
Devi also was a mathematician. Yeah, famous mathematician. Yeah, Madame Curie.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So
So this is in the emotional world, not in
yes,
the
so emotionally weak. We can say that emotionally weak. But
vulnerable.
similarly, if we take the example of Indira Gandhi,
Very
so
sure.
strong. Margaret Thatcher, very strong. So there are Lakshmi Bai,
Yeah.
Virangana Lakshmi Bai. She was a freedom fighter, and she fought against by taking Vasudev on her back, tying her on her, and then she made jump from the Jhansi fort. She jumped. So many examples are there of the women being so strong as well. But now exception overrules, all these generic statements. So we don't need to get hurt, but because it's generic statement, they are prone to get more hurt very easily. They're prone to get pleased very easily. That's why their intelligence quotient is not that stronger. Yeah. Agree? So we have a compromise here.
No, I agree, because sometimes some of the decisions we take emotionally is not always right. But men, they don't take emotional decisions, so that's why more practical. I accept it.
It is yes and no. Men will get emotional decision when his mother says something. This is also a fact.
Is it?
माँ ने कहा है तो करना है ना, so
It is
because he
respect
doesn't
for
want
the
to hurt
mother.
his mother, but he can hurt his wife. Yeah. So these are the facts of the life. I have done that. Right. So any question? Any more, Priyanka, Uday? Any questions? I hope you are not fighting.
I'll have to leave a bit early because I have to pick up my daughter today at 11:30. So
Okay, what is the time now? It's 11:16. So we can close here because there are very important verses. I don't want anyone to miss. I don't know why people have not attended today, because this last part of the first chapter is very, very important. And I could have changed the time if people would have told me before that they are not available at this time. Anyway, so
Saturday morning is preferable for us. Okay, yeah.
sorry.
No, that's fine.
Okay. So we'll do the Vaishnava Pranam and then we close it here. Okay, tomorrow we are doing the Sunday feast sponsored. So you might have read my long message there. So I want all of us to come together in the temple and do the seva of cooking as well as serving. So if you can make yourself available, nothing like it.
Tomorrow, actually, it's a bit short notice. My daughter is undergoing HSC and I have to take her
No,
Not-
no problem. No
Yes.
problem. Okay, let's do the Vaishnava Pranam. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंतकोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।